I stopped believing in God because He is taking me away from my children and husband. It has been some time since the doctors said there was nothing more to be done. My breast cancer was at an advanced stage, and despite surgeries, treatments, and attempts at therapy, the tumor had spread to other organs. All efforts were in vain, and now only the suffering of waiting remained. When I faced this reality, I began to question why God allowed me to go through this. I look at my 3 children, still so young, and at my husband, who has always been by my side. The thought of leaving them, of abandoning them, is unbearable. It seems too unfair, and anger began to take over me. During the treatment, I still tried to maintain my faith, clinging to hope, even if it was small. But as days and diagnoses passed, I saw my health deteriorate. My hair fell out, my body weakened, and the pain seemed to grow each day. With every appointment, the news was worse, and the strength I had to pray was fading. How could I continue believing in a God who allowed me to suffer this way? Where was the comfort? Where was the relief? It wasn't fair, and my faith, which was once strong, was now hanging by a thread. Tears came almost every day, sometimes alone in my room, other times in silence, so no one would see my despair. I was losing the will to fight, as what remained for me seemed to be only the end. It was on one of those nights when I felt consumed by pain and fear that my oldest daughter entered the room. She was already aware of the seriousness of my condition, and although she tried to be strong, I could see the worry in her eyes. When she saw me crying, she couldn't hold back her own tears and came to me, hugging me tightly. She asked if I still believed in miracles, and I, unable to lie, said no. I told her my faith had worn thin, that it was impossible to continue believing in the face of so much suffering. It was then that she, in a burst of emotion, called her siblings and their father, and they all gathered around me. They knelt down and began to pray. I didn't know what to feel. Seeing my children and my husband there, kneeling, praying for me, a mix of pain and love filled my heart. They were asking with such intensity, with such faith, that something inside me began to ignite again. Even though I couldn't express it, their presence, the words of supplication, touched my heart. And then, in that moment, I heard my daughter asking God to give me one more chance. She was pleading with such strength, with such conviction, that I was deeply moved. She believed in something I could no longer believe in. That night, after the prayer, they stayed by my side, each holding my hand, showing a strength and faith that I no longer possessed. When the doctor entered the room with the new results, something in his face seemed different. He looked at us in a way we didn't expect and, with a calm voice, began to explain that the tests showed a significant improvement. At first, we didn't understand what that meant, but when he said that the signs of cancer had disappeared, we were all in shock. I didn't know whether to believe it, to cry or to laugh. Emotion took over us, and we all embraced, amidst tears and smiles, unable to believe what we were hearing. The doctor explained that, although he didn't have a concrete explanation, the test showed that I was free of cancer. For him, it was something surprising and unusual. He left us alone so we could process the news. I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. Had God truly heard my family's prayers? Had that miracle really occurred? From that moment on, my heart was filled with indescribable gratitude. I realized that the faith my family maintained even when I had lost it was what brought hope back to me. My healing to me was a sign that we should never give up, even when everything seems lost. I learned that amidst pain and despair, the love and faith of those by our side can give us the strength to continue, to believe again. Today, I cherish every moment with my children and my husband, every hug, every smile, every glance. My view of God has also changed. I understood that, although life is not always easy, it is important to never lose faith, even when circumstances are tough. That dark period taught me the strength that resides in love and shared faith, and I will never forget the courage and determination of my daughter, who inspired me to believe again.